All right, welcome back, guys. Back for another episode of Vigor Warriors 2, the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. We are going to continue our focusing on our book, Think and Grow Rich. I'm going to also kind of take different books as we go along, but this is the kind of focus I'm doing right now. And we're looking at the idea of faith and self-suggestion. And we're going to kind of focus on that. But first, go ahead and comment. I think the main thing we're trying to do here is to have you better yourself. And so whatever you believe in order to be able to kind of do that is the key. And so I want to kind of open up different type of ideas and kind of give you my perspective on things that's helped me. And hopefully those are things that are going to help you in the future to become the best person you can be. And through a lot of the ideas that I've had over the years, some have worked, some have not worked. And so I like to kind of have a channel dedicated to discussions about your mental, physical, and health benefits to try to make things better for you in the long run. And so that's why we call it the 1% Club, because a lot of us are realizing how important something like celibacy, retention, brahmacharya, sophism is to be able to do that. So, all right, so today's chapter is on faith and self-suggestion. So let's look at the idea of faith first. Now, depending on what you believe in, now I will say from my perspective, I believe in the Lord and God. You have to kind of continue to have faith in something you don't see. So faith is having something that you don't see that somehow is going to happen in the future. Now, how do you believe those thoughts? Well, there's something internally that I believe is a voice within you, that I believe is the Lord, in my opinion, that gives me the idea of saying, okay, this is the direction I should go, okay? And prayer is the ability, just like meditation, is continue going over it and repeating your faith to, in this case, my God, okay? And so repetition of the affirmation of the orders to your subconscious mind is really a development of your faith. And so as you continue to say, in this case, Hail Mary or Our Father, those type of things that I do, I continue to get those reaffirmations that relationship that I have with the Lord is the most important. And so this is why I continue to look at this to say this is very, very important. But faith is something you have to have. Emerson, the great writer that we've had in the United States in our history, Ralph Waldo Emerson, said that the course of life is only to teach faith. Everything you do is to get you closer to the Lord in the long run. And that's why when you look at this whole plan we're on, retention, to my mind, I can understand why Malcolm X did 12 years of celibacy retention, because he was trying to get closer to the Lord. And I think this is what's important, guys. All the stuff around us is not important, really, in the long run. Material things come and go. People come and go, right? The idea is that what's your relationship will be with that person, in this case, the Lord, in my case. What's your relationship with that person long term? Is that something that no matter what happens, you're going to be having faith? Now, we're in a time right now, obviously, that there's a lot of issues going on. A lot of economic issues out there, medical issues going on out there, a lot of people fighting for what they believe is right. And you need to stand up for yourself. You can't put up with that kind of stuff like this, right? I've seen this type of stuff in all kinds of things, right? People need to kind of feel out who they are. And I think we're becoming a society of people realizing how important it is to do that. But that takes a lot of faith to believe that, you're not going to get consequences that are going to hurt you more in the long run to help you. And that's why you believe that, in my case, I believe the Lord is helping me to do those type of things. But the repetition of prayer, the repetition of reading my Bible every day, the repetition of trying to be strong has just made me unbelievably 10 times, 100 times stronger than I was. And I just feel like it's something that is important. And so for those of you who have similar types of beliefs, And I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say anything bad about one religion or another. I think that the more important thing is that you are praying, and then that you basically have faith. Faith is the key. And you can get that by self-suggestion, by continuing to repeat things over and over again. And repetition is a key thing. No one, as he talks about, is doomed for bad luck. No one's doomed to that. A lot of times people create their own bad luck by the negative affirmations they have. And this is what's important, guys. You may not realize it. And I was like this. I was like this when I was in my 20s. Everything was negative. I was expecting negative results, and I got them, right? Even the people I had dated were negative images of myself. I was reinforcing my negative self-confidence. And so until I started changing me, the people around me didn't change. And so I was able to change because I was able to change who I was. And that's a lesson for some of you younger guys who are struggling with the same kind of thing I did, and self-esteem, shyness, and all that kind of stuff. You have to kind of realize that it's in your thoughts to start with, and this is where you can create it. There's some people who are very deterministic out there. They believe that they have no control over anything. And I will be the first to admit there's things that you cannot control. I mean, there's things we cannot control. We're just small, minute types of things in this whole universe. But there's things that I believe the Creator, in this case the Lord, has given me to be co-creators. And there's decisions you can make, just like we talked about with self-control. Decisions you can make to be able to say, I'm going to do this or not do that. And one of those things is having faith. If you have faith that things will work out, then things will work out. But if you have faith that it's going to go bad, then things won't go bad. I mean, as Aristotle, Plato had said, Socrates, I am what I think I am. Basically, that's what you are. Because you think those thoughts, that's what you become, right? Talks about thoughts which are mixed with any feelings of emotion constitute a magnetic force which attracts other similar related thoughts. So going back to our energy again, guys, when we have these chakras, and you have the chakras spinning at a high rate because of your exercising, because you're staying younger, you're focusing on attracting those things because of your mental state. If you're always negative, if you always think the negative things are happening, and you have lack of faith, then those type of things will come. It's almost like what they call a self-fulfilling expectation or prophecy. If you think it's going to happen, it will. But because you're drawing energy, those things out there. And a lot of people don't believe in energy. We'll just kind of say this is hogwash. They don't even look at the book and even think it makes any sense at all. But this is why we talk about thoughts or things, because you have energy going out there and everything you're doing, your attitude. And this is what draws people to you or repels people, because of your energy you're out there giving off. And the same thing comes to succeeding and having faith. So self-suggestion, whether it's true or false, is something you can believe at time. You know that, right? Because people can go ahead and believe a lie. As long as they keep telling themselves, they're going to believe it. So why not trick yourself, guys, and believing how confident you can be, how strong you can be. Now, it is enhanced 100-fold by retention. Because once you are retaining and you're gaining control, now your confidence level goes up. A, because you have that energy inside of you. You're keeping your energy. But B, you now know you can do that. That increases your this monk mode I'm 30 days in is unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable to me, And I'm continuing to get all the benefits. In fact, with the monk mode, I got women just coming up to me, but I don't really care at this point, right? I have too many things going on. And so it's just amazing to me. And I'm a 60-year-old guy, guys. So to me, for having a lot of these younger women come up to me, they recognize that I'm on a purpose, on a goal, and they appreciate that. It's flattering, But the idea is that for you guys in your 20s, make sure that as you do this, that you're making right decisions and having faith in a type person that you're with, and that's the key. Disaster, negative thinking you talk about. Here's a nice a little poem here that I want to kind of read. So it says, if you think you are beaten, you are. This may come from Rudyard Kipling. I think it comes from Kipling. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you've lost. For out in the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. If you think you got to rise, if you got to think high to rise, you got to be sure yourself before you can ever win a prize. So guys, being sure yourself is the key. Okay? Life's battle don't always go to the strongest or fastest man, but sooner or later the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. Okay? Guys, this is the whole key. Those are the words that are important. When you're talking about thinking yourself into success, this is the key. Now, this takes time because faith is hard to have because you've had so many years of thinking the other way. And you're thinking negative. It's very difficult to change those thoughts. But the only way you can do that is repetition. So I don't have my Bible and my cards here, but every morning I read the Bible and pray. And then I have my cards, my goals. This is how I know what day I am in retention, right? But the retention is one of those goals, to continue doing that. But you have all kinds of goals that you can have. But you continue with those goals, and you know yourself going to see yourself with money or these type of things in your hand. You know what's going to happen. And you don't lose that faith. And that's kind of the key. Okay. It gives a nice story about Mahatma Gandhi, who had a lot of faith, had no money, no home, did not even own a suit of clothes, but he had so much power. He understood the idea of faith they talk about. And Gandhi is one of my favorite people to study. Okay, he influenced 200 million people to move in one unison in a single mind because he knew that this was the way to go. Okay, but guys, this shows you don't need money. You don't need those type of things. Yes, we need money to survive. But guys, remember, your power is in the mind. We only know what 10% of the mind can do. Your mind can create things. Now, this sounds strange, but it's true. You can create things. I know I've changed a lot of my life because of my thoughts have changed over the years. I used to worry all the time. I used to release all the time on all the kind of stuff that I had problems with, anxiety, and it filled your life. I could do a whole one on worrying, and I think I may do at some point after we do this book. We'll do a Dale Carnegie book on how to stop worrying and start living. These books have been around since the 1930s and 40s and 50s, right? But the truth is still the truth. A lot of this goes back to your mind. It doesn't matter if you're living in the Dark Ages, you're living in Christ and Caesar's time, Alexander the Great's time. It doesn't matter if you're living in a dinosaur era, right? If you're a cave person, caveman, cavewoman, you're still using your mind. Now, we know so much about more of the mind now than we did, but we still are so far off to know how important it is. But we do know one thing, that the repetition of these things is the key. Those that I think riches begin with thoughts, and that's the key. They did talk a great story about U.S. Steel and how Charles Schwab and formed U.S. Steel, and the whole story behind Andrew Carnegie and all these people came from a single idea. And guys, all the inventions in the world basically come from a single idea. And so we're talking about faith, and the next chapter is auto-suggestion, so we may kind of push a little bit of discussion on that. But the idea is that you need to repeat things, and you do that through your faith. And so faith is important, and you need to keep on that. All right, so I think we're going to stop here, and the next one we'll do will be an auto-suggestion. All right, so once again, Think and Grow Rich. If you get a chance to get that book, please do so. I highly recommend it. And until next time, battle on.